Well, good morning, everyone. At this time, we will begin the grade level expectation meeting. I'm Mr. Salerno, principal here at Charles S. Rushi Middle School. It's great to be with you this morning. I am not Mrs. Blazes, who is your grade level administrator. She wasn't able to be here this morning, so I am going to be sharing information about the expectations for this school year. But let me start by just welcoming you all to the 2021-2022 school year. It is my hope that if you're either new to our school or rejoining us, that you really have not just a fantastic academic year, but also a great and successful year when it comes to your social emotional learning as well.
Hang on.
So what I'm going to do is I am recording this as well.
It is on, but it is not working for some reason.
Yeah, here's some talking. I don't know why it wouldn't be working. But I am recording this as well, so you have this. So if you would please mute your microphones, and if students do have questions, you could unmute yourself at the end of the presentation. I'll be happy to take any questions at that time. So our expectation meeting is really to help set the stage for a successful school year. When more is expected, more is achieved, and that is very true in school, just like everything. We have several awesome staff members to, in addition to your teachers, your team teachers. As I had introduced myself, I'm Mr. Slaughter, the principal. You also have Mr. Middleton, our 8th grade administrator. We have Mrs. Ferguson, the 8th grade school counselor. We also have for you, Mrs. Christy Blazes. She is your 7th grade administrator, and your school counselor this year is Mr. Chris Snyder. So if you ever need to reach out to anyone for assistance, those are some awesome people to reach out to. We also, of course, have on campus at all times our school resource officer, Corporal Mark Curtis. Our discipline assistant is Mr. Michael Davis. Our school nurse is Miss Kittling. She's here as an itinerant. We also have some help in our clinic with a clinic assistant, Mrs. Yoder. Our front desk, anytime you come to our front desk, I'm sure you have seen the smiling faces of Mrs. Bunker and Mrs. Hoy. And we have a data entry operator. She's the one behind the scenes that does everything with making sure the schedules are all in line, and that's Mrs. Schwab. And then for those of you who just came into school and you registered this past summer, Mrs. Majewitz is our registrar, our friendly face that you probably one of the first people you saw. So those are some of the people here at Charles S. Rushi Middle School that are here to help you. So what today's presentation is all about is how we could help you soar to success this year. And I'd like you to ask the question, what do I need to know to soar to success? And so this is a picture from our 8th grade celebration that we had, the promotion ceremony, that all of you will have the opportunity to participate in your 8th grade year. So that's just another, this school year and one more school year until you get to this moment. And we're excited to celebrate our success for many of you, the 3 years you've had here at Charles S. Rushi Middle School. So what we look at is an acronym or an acrostic, I should say, of RAVENS, being respectful, attentive, vigilant, which means to just be alert to your surroundings, engaged, neighborly, and successful. And some of the things that go along with that is being honest, have the courage to do the right thing, building a good reputation for students, citizenship and respect. On the screen, you should see all of those things that we want our ravens to be. All of those are important, but I can't say enough about kindness. If we are have that smile on our face, some people say that your smile is your best accessory. You are going to have an awesome not just school year, but it's an awesome life. When you're kind, kindness begets kindness, and it's very, very important to demonstrate that. What you should see on your screen before you is our school-wide behavioral expectations. These are posted throughout the school. You may have noticed them in the hallways, in the cafeteria, outside restrooms, all around the building, because what we want to make sure is that everyone knows what these different areas, what it looks like to be respectful, responsible, safe, and a problem solver in each location. So let's start with the classroom. We want to make sure that we're always using kind words and talking when you should, not talking when the teacher's trying to talk and teach, but that is being respectful. To be responsible in the classroom is to follow directions, to complete your work and be prepared. And more importantly, when it comes to completing work, making sure you're completing work to the best of your ability, not just to complete it to get it done, but to complete it to show your mastery of what is being asked of you. Safety in the classroom, keeping your hands and feet to yourself. That's the same anywhere you are on campus. And being in the designated areas and not out in areas that you're not supposed to be. Being a problem solver in the classroom is diffusing issues with the teacher and student calmly and politely. I could tell you that no matter what in life and where in life, you're always going to have some type of conflict. And it's about how you handle that conflict that's either going to make or break you. Let's face it, even in our own personal families, sometimes we have disagreements. The best type of resolution is always one that is calm and polite, and usually if it escalates to yelling or saying things that we can't take back, that's where we go wrong with that. So we're really not only trying to help you to be successful Ravens, but successful people outside of school and throughout life. In the cafeteria, we want to make sure you're using appropriate volume, no yelling across the cafeteria, leaving a clean space for others. We do wipe down the tabletops, but making sure that you are being clean and cleaning up after yourself as much as possible. We also want to make sure that you're not using your earbuds all the time, but in the cafeteria, we do allow for that. We don't want for people to be playing their music out loud because that is not very respectful to others. And then responsible in the cafeteria, raising your hand for assistance, recycling your trays. We're not recycling this year, but making sure that you are disposing of your own trash. Being safe is staying seated until dismissal, raising your hand when you want to get up for any reason, keeping the aisle clear so no one trips over your book bag. Use entries and exits as directed by whoever is in the cafeteria. And then making sure you discuss seating and line position issues calmly and politely. Sometimes there's a disagreement with, who's first and so forth, and just making sure you're calm about that. In the hallways, we want you to be respectful by using appropriate volume. We don't want a lot of yelling, making sure that you're respecting personal space. This year, we want to make sure that you're using the one-way hallways respectfully. Move directly to your next class is one way that you could show that you're being responsible. And of course, arriving on time. It's important in life that if you say you're going to do something and you need to be somewhere at a certain time, that you're there at that time. So again, these are all things that not only are expectations in school, but also throughout life. Safety in the hallways, always making sure you're walking facing forward, making sure that you're on the right side as you travel, making sure that you are watching where you're going is very important. And a problem solver in this particular case in the hallways is notifying the nearest adult when supervision is required. If you see something happening, say something to an adult so that they could help to de-escalate whatever the situation is. In our restrooms, We always want to be respectful by making sure that we're flushing after ourselves and cleaning up after ourselves. Responsibility includes always having a pass, using your time wisely, and only one person per stall. That is responsible. Safety includes helping keep the floor clear and dry and washing your hands after using the restroom. And once again, problem solving in the restroom means that you notify an adult if the bathroom needs attention. Online, most of us are doing more and more online, whether it is using your phone or using your computer or a tablet. So we want you to be respectful, responsible, safe, and a problem solver using those devices as well. So what does it look to be respectful online? Making sure you're typing and texting only what you would say in person. Sometimes people feel a little bit freer to text or write things that they wouldn't say to a person. And that's certainly not the way Ravens are. To be responsible using the online, any online platform is block conversations you wish to discontinue. That's probably the easiest way of being able to do away with any kind of either chats or so forth that you don't want to be a part of. Just block them. Safety means converse with people you know in person. Do not invite public people in. You don't know who they are. There's a lot of danger to that. So just make sure that you know that whoever you're conversing with, you know in person. And being a problem solver is making sure you show inappropriate messages or pictures or texts to an adult when necessary. Your first person that you always make sure you communicate with is your parents. But if it is something that happens here at school, make sure that a staff member knows as well. Again, either Mrs. Blazes, perhaps Mr. Snyder, one of the trusted adults here at school. So those are our school-wide behavioral expectations. Again, you will see these in the hallway. If you need to refer to them, that's why they are there. We are going to be continuing to recognize students for their display of our Ravenclaws. So if you are respectful, responsible, and a problem solver, we are going to be giving you Ravenclaw cash. They're little cards that look like this. And what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to use those to cash them in for different items, snacks and so forth, and other rewards that we will have throughout the year as well. So your teachers will be given these cards that you can go ahead and earn, and we will make sure that we have those usually in the cafeteria, and during lunchtime, maybe a little school store will be put together for those. We do have a positive academic and behavior support here at school. We call that the early warning system. So what you want to do is you really want to be on track. You want to be in that green up arrow. And that is that all of your courses have C's or better in all of your classes. You are here at school every day, so your attendance is between 0 and 2 absences. Your GPA is a 2.5 or higher. You have no office discipline referrals. For the year, we're looking for 2 or fewer office discipline referrals. You don't have out of school or in-school suspensions, and your assessment levels are between a level 3 proficiency and a 5 proficiency, which is the highest. You are at risk if you have 1 or more D's in any class. You have absences that exceed 5 to 9% in the year, or 3 to 4 absences in a quarter. Your GPA is at a 2.0 to 2.59. You have 1 or more office discipline referrals, 1 per quarter, 3 for the year. And your assessments, the state assessments, The MAP assessments are at a level 2. And students who are off track are those who are failing one or more classes, have numerous attendance issues, 5 or more absences in a quarter, or 10% or more absences in the year, and less than a 2.0 grade point average, 2 or more office discipline referrals in a quarter, or 4 or more in the school year, and then out of school suspensions or in school suspensions, 1 or more is considered off track. And then your assessments are at a level 1, which is the lowest on that scale of 1 to 5. So we really want you to aim for being on track in that green section throughout the school year. So some of the ways that you could help monitor your own progress is, first of all, be positive. If you go into the school year thinking, I can't do this, you have a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you have that can-do attitude, however, that self-fulfilling prophecy will be a positive self-fulfilling prophecy. And you want to make sure that that attitude is there because you can do it. I don't know, there's not one student here at Charles S. Ritchie Middle School who can't be successful. And we have several adults on campus to help you with that. Being prepared, completing assignments on time, studying for tests, and cleaning out your backpacks on a weekly basis is another way that you could help to be successful this year. Being prompt, passing is for walking to your next class and not hanging out with friends. So being prompt in class, on time in class is so very important. Being committed to quality, making sure that not only do you finish your work, but you always do the best work you can possibly do. And make sure you check the work before handing it in for a grade. When you put your name on that paper, I want you to be proud of what work that represents. And then to be present. Now, that just doesn't mean to show up for class. It means to be engaged in class, listening, communicating with the teacher, raising your hand to answer questions or ask questions. Be committed to your success by monitoring your grades as well. And that can be done on a weekly basis. All of you have access to My Student, so you'll be able to see exactly how you're doing in class. Again, My Student, for those of you who are new to our school, is an online grade book. It gives a lot of good information about the progress you're making in classes. What I always recommend is you check it perhaps on a Friday so that you can, if there's anything missing or anything that you need to talk to your teacher about, you could do that before leaving for the weekend and spend some time getting those things updated. The preferences in My Student allow you and your parent to receive communication via email and text message when grades have been entered or when grades fall below a specified level. So that's a nice feature of the My Student portal. If you need additional help, you have your awesome teachers. We have some of the best teachers in education here at Charles S. Ritchie Middle School. We have our school counselors and administrators who are here to help you. Our SSAP teacher, our student support teacher is Mr. E.J. Deutschek. Mr. Deutschek is here for you. He's up in the media lab. And we also have airtime. All in Ravens is what that stands for. It's a 30-minute intervention every day that you could go to get some additional help. We could help you get on track, but we need for you to meet us halfway. So please reach out if you do need help. Your teachers will be reaching out to you as well. If you're a walker to campus, we want you to be safe. So we want you to make sure that when you're walking to school, that you're using the crosswalk on Mentmore Boulevard to cross at the light. Please do not cross in the middle of the road. especially when the time change happens in October. It'll get a little bit darker, and with the closer we get to the autumn, you're going to see that it's going to get darker in the morning. Cars may not see you, so please make sure you're crossing at that light. Make sure you're vigilant. Make sure you're watching when you're crossing. Again, if you see them, then you know that you're not supposed to be crossing until you could actually see the driver's eyes as well. Make sure you're using that crosswalk. I can't emphasize that enough. If you're walking west towards the clubhouse, you must use the walkway that runs in front of the cafeteria and winds around to Mentmore, so you're not crossing traffic. Please do not go out the gate and walk down Mentmore and cross the entryway into the school. You could walk on that sidewalk past the cafeteria, please. If you're a bike rider, we're asking you to make sure you're locking your bike inside the bike rack. You could also register your bike by downloading the bike registration form on our school website. State law also requires all bike riders under the age of 16 to wear a helmet. And for your safety, please walk your bikes on and off campus. Please do not ride your bike on campus. I've seen a lot of students riding their bikes on campus, almost having collisions with students who are waiting or getting out of their cars in the car loops. So please, once you get on the campus, please walk your bikes. Very, very important. Electronics policies. There are rules for common areas such as cafeteria, hallways, bathrooms, locker rooms, the track, the bus and car loop. Students are responsible for their own devices, so please do not lend your phone or borrow a phone from another student. All electronic devices should be kept on silent mode while on campus. Not complying with this rule could result in disciplinary action because it's a disruption to the learning environment. Students are allowed to use electronics in the hallway and in the cafeteria as long as they are following the rules above. Electronic privileges can be revoked if students do not respect the policies and procedures in place. The electronics policy also forbids you to use your phone in the restroom or locker rooms. Electronics should be put away at all times in these areas. No taking of pictures or videos on campus unless authorized by your teacher for educational purposes. I've seen some students taking pictures of their friends and sometimes making fun of them. That is not the way that Raven should be. So please make sure that you're not taking pictures or videos unless your teacher gives you permission. Making phone calls is prohibited from the moment you come onto campus to the moment you leave without explicit permission from a school staff member. If you need to use a phone, we have phones up here in the front office. And we don't want you calling home to tell your parents that you're sick. We want you to come to the isolation room. If you need assistance, we are here to help you. If you, again, need to use a phone, please go to the front office to get or get permission first. There are several apps that some of you have on your phones that may be to your detriment. It may be bad for you. Our recommendation, and again, this is just our recommendation, but please make sure that you don't put these types of apps on your phone without your parent knowing about them. Make sure that your parents have the password to your phones and to these different apps, because I think it's important that they are monitoring what you're doing on these. Some of these were really designed for what I'm going to call nefarious types of actions. We don't want you to be involved in things that could hurt you. So please be aware of the fact that these really haven't been designed to be really good for young people. So please be aware of that. You should have seen that there is a bring your own device policy on campus, what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do, making sure that you have seen this. I believe you had to check off that you acknowledge this at the beginning of the year on My Student. We want to make sure that you're prepared for class. That's one of the responsible things that we had mentioned earlier. Remember that we don't have lockers here at Charles S. Rushi Middle School. As a matter of fact, very few, if any, middle schools do. So we're asking that when you're carrying your supplies in your book bags, that you're just bringing what you actually need. Some people have really very, very heavy book bags, which is not very healthy for you. So please make sure that you're only bringing what you need for class. So papers, pencils, your folders and binders are the basic materials that you would need. Your schedule, all of your classes are on the second floor for the most part, with the exception of one of our teams, I believe it's Achieve, perhaps, but there is one seventh grade team that is on the first floor, but most of them are on the second floor. I will share with you that there are opportunities for you to go to other floors if you have electives, but please do not go to any other floor unless you have a class on that floor. We are also reminding you to only use the interior stairwells in the atrium and not the outer stairwells, except for entering and exiting the building at the end, beginning and end of the day. So our all in Ravens time, it's a half hour of study hall intervention time. Each day you are given that gift. I truly mean it is a gift, and students will be scheduled with one of their team teachers or an elective teacher and are allowed to complete assignments and ask for assistance on misunderstood concepts. It is here that is actually there for you to be successful academically. So there's no excuses for missing work because you have that opportunity to have that additional time for help and to get things done. We'll be talking more about airtime in the coming weeks as well. But the airtime is right after first period. We do want you to be involved Ravens. Not only can you participate in sports, football, volleyball, and cheerleading are actually taking place very shortly and have their tryouts. But we also have something for everyone. These are just some of the different clubs that we have here at Charles S. Rushi Middle School. And we will continue to build on these clubs. And if you don't see something that you are interested in joining, then please, all you need to do is come to me and share with me what that is that you wish to do. And we could always ask you to get a sponsor and then start advertising that club. But there's something for everyone. And the most important thing is that you're involved in our school. The more involved you are, the more success, the more belonging that you feel here at Charles S. Rushi Middle School. Supervision begins only 30 minutes before the first the beginning of the day. So our school begins at 7:25. Although we allow you to come into the building at 7:10, school hours officially begin at 7:25. So that means that 6:55 is the earliest you're able to be out on campus waiting for that first bell to ring. Students are not allowed to be in the building before 7:10 and must go directly to their first period class once that bell does ring. And we do have a dress code here. If you would please hold off on going to your next class until we're done with this. We have changed some things in the dress code, so please make sure you're aware of the new dress code requirements. Specifically, there have been changes to the holes in the pants and shorts and skirts and so forth. As long as it's not exposing undergarments or areas of the body that would generally be covered by undergarments or body parts in an indecent or vulgar manner, you're going to be okay this year. You just want to make sure that you are following all these other areas. making sure that you're not wearing shirts that are exposing cleavage or your stomach, making sure that we are dressing modestly as well. So we're going to have posters made that will be put up throughout the school. Some of teachers already have these, and this is a good reference to that. We are a bully-free zone here at Charles S. Rishi Middle School, so make sure that if you see something, say something. We want you to be an upstander, not a bystander. You don't want to stand by and watch things happen. You want to be an upstander and be a part of the solution. If you yourself are being bullied, make sure that you report it to an adult so that we can handle that. Sometimes it's not reported and things escalate, and that's certainly not what we want. We are a bully-free school, and we do not accept bullying. Remember, kindness is the best way to present yourself. We have a discipline policy, and a lot of times it's going to be managed by your teachers, but sometimes it has to be office managed. If it's office managed, for instance, fighting or alcohol possession or drug possession, please know that we will be looking at the maximum consequence for those types of acts. We do not want anyone to be in an unsafe environment here at Charles S. Rishi Middle School. I have been the principal here for 12 years and very, very proud of the way that our students handle themselves. And we don't want a situation where students are feeling unsafe. So please know that if you are doing these things, we will be looking at not only out of school suspension, but perhaps expulsion as well. So our motto here at Charles S. Rishi Middle School is to come to class and be successful for every minute of every class of every day, no matter how challenging my task. Please make sure you're all in, you're ready to soar, and only you can make it happen. You are a Raven, and Ravens soar to success. At this time, if you have any questions whatsoever, you could come off mute and ask those, or put those in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer those. Okay, hearing none and seeing none, please know that if you have any questions about this presentation or anything whatsoever, I'm usually in the hallways. You could go ahead and stop me and ask. Email me. You're more than welcome to do that. I respond to email as well. But thank you so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful school year. Thank you so much.